You put your expert advisor on demo and it makes money, but then you switch to live and it doesn't make money anymore. Today I'm going to show you exactly where the demo is tricking you, something no one else will ever show you. If you do automated trading and don't watch this video until the end, you'll definitely be throwing away months of work. In this video, I'm going to show you 7 real differences between a demo account and a live account, differences that no one else will ever show you. We'll look at them in detail, one by one. And each of these differences alone can destroy your expert advisor. By the end, you'll understand that the demo account is only good for one thing, and it's not making money. Welcome everyone, I'm Andrea, your automated trader. And if you like what I do, don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. So, let's start with the first thing. The first thing is the stop to zero. So let's analyze what happens when we move a stop to zero on the demo and on the real account. This is the VPS I use. Here I have an account, a demo, where I'm basically running the same experts that I have on the real account, but with a higher risk. Precisely to see what happens. And also to compare the differences between the demo account and the real account. Let's go to the section where we have all the trades. These are the most recent ones. So what do we see where there's a stop to zero? As in this case, on the demo account, we have exactly 0.0. So we haven't really lost anything, everything is zero. And this happens every time we move the stop to zero. So here it's zero again, here it's zero, here it's zero. Let's look at other trades. Here we have zero again. And they're all the same, they're all 0.00. Now let's go see what happens on the real account instead. As you can see, for example, in this trade, we have minus 2.79 euros. Here we have minus 1.15. These are all stops at zero, right? Let's keep going. Another one, minus 3, minus 0.44, minus 0.04, minus 2.60, and so on, right? Minus 0.44, 0.97 plus. But if we look, in general, minus 8, minus 8, minus 3. It's not like we have big numbers, but even here, for example, we have minus 250, minus 240. So in the end, we always have usually negative values, even if they're small. This is clear, it doesn't destroy an expert advisor. But if you have an expert that already earns little, this can make it earn even less. If the profit is small, this can take you from making a profit to breaking even, or even going below zero. Because if you make a lot of trades, these numbers, even if they're small, when all added up, amount to a sum of money that you've lost. Influential? If you have an expert with a big edge, it's clear that this becomes negligible, but it still makes you earn less. Now let's look at another issue, the trade that appears in demo but not in live trading. And in live trading, it doesn't appear. Why is that? Let's take a look. If we look at the trades that are currently open on the demo, the first one, the one on the Japanese yen, was opened at 5 in the morning and is still open now. In this strategy, we have a point where if the position goes into profit, the stop is moved to zero. Now let's go check on the real account to see if we have this trade. Here is the real account. Let's look at the closed trades, and here is our trade. The trade that was opened on the yen at 5 in the morning was closed at 7:14, whereas on the demo it wasn't closed. So here it was closed at zero, while over there it's still open, and this time it's even making a profit. Why did this difference occur between the two accounts? Basically, the demo feed and the real feed, that is, the data, the candlesticks you see on the screen, are, well, practically identical, but not exactly the same. What does that mean? All it takes is one extra pip on one account for what happened in this case to occur. In the case of the real account, maybe the price was 1 pip higher, it met the condition to move the stop to zero, we set the stop to zero automatically, obviously the expert did it, and then the price retraced and closed my position at zero. On the demo account, on the other hand, maybe it was 1 pip behind. The condition wasn't met, the stop wasn't moved to zero, so the price went through. At that point, we didn't close the position at zero because the stop was still lower. It took off again, and now we're in profit. This is a problem, but only to a certain extent, because it's not a condition that's asymmetric, meaning it doesn't always make it look like you're earning more. But it's a random condition, so sometimes it will hurt you and other times it will help you. However, overall, since it's random, it should balance itself out. The next point concerns gaps. At the market open on Monday. So the gap that can form between Friday's close and Monday's open, This is the most catastrophic thing that can happen to you in real trading. In the case of the broker I use, if you use a demo account and have a stop set, if the position is closed at midnight on Friday with the stop in place and on Monday there's a huge gap at the open, the position in the demo gets closed at the stop. So you incur the loss you had predefined, which is your stop loss. The reality is completely different, because if something like this happens in a real account, you lose much more than your stop. That's because the position gets closed on Monday at the first available price. So if I had, say, a stop at 0.10% and it opens with a gap on the opposite side of 1%, you lose 10 times your stop on a real account, whereas on the demo, you only lose what was expected, so just the stop. This is something you really need to keep in mind, because otherwise it will completely distort the results of what you're going to do in real trading. Another point that works against you on demo compared to real trading is the fact that spreads and executions are definitely better on demo than on real accounts. Obviously, this has little impact on a single trade, but overall it's something that can significantly affect what you're seeing. For example, if you make 300 trades a month like I do, even that small increase in spread and that slightly different execution can end up making you earn 2 to 3 to 5% less every month. Another important point is slippage. This is a phenomenon that often happens when there's news. When there's important news, a significant release of macroeconomic data, the spread widens and forms. There's also slippage if you execute your order at that moment. In the demo account, slippage is definitely lower than what you experience in a real account. Here, something similar happens to what I mentioned about the gap. In the demo account, if you have a stop, thank you. And at that moment, if news is released and you hit your stop, the loss is exactly what you had preset for the stop. In the real account, the loss is what you get at the execution of that stop. So if there was significant slippage, you could end up losing 2 or 3 times your stop, and this has already happened to me in real trading. Again, if you use the demo, you won't notice this, and it isn't taken into account. Whereas in real trading, every time there's important news and you take a stop, you might even take 2 or 3 stops. Because if you had multiple open positions, it can happen that with heavy slippage, you lose 3 or 4 times what you had planned. So you also need to take this into account when you're looking at backtests or data from a demo account. So now you might be wondering, what's the point of this demo? The demo is used to test your experts. Why? On the demo, you can figure out if an expert more or less works, if it makes money, or if it's completely broken. If you see that you're already losing completely on the demo, it's clear that you need to review and reprogram it, change some logic. If on the other hand you have an expert that earns a lot in demo, it will probably earn less in real trading than what you saw in the demo, but it will continue to make profits. And this is why you always need to have expert advisors with a strong edge, so that the part that gets eroded when you move to a real account, which is different from the demo, isn't so significant that it takes you from making profits to making losses. If you've paid close attention to this video, now you'll understand why many experts seem to work only in demo and not in real trading. The demo, of course, is friendly. It's a more accommodating feed, specifically designed to show that things always go better than they do in reality. The real account, on the other hand, is a ruthless environment where only well-designed experts manage to survive. If you enjoyed this video, send it to a friend on WhatsApp, because that's exactly how money circulates.